Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all my brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Roots of Islam channel. Could an ancient faith, often misunderstood and viewed with skepticism in the heart of Europe, be quietly drawing thousands of new adherents each year, offering them a profound sense of peace, belonging and purpose that they couldn't find elsewhere? What compels individuals from a highly secular, technologically advanced society to embrace a spiritual path that requires deep personal commitment, often challenging family traditions and societal norms? Imagine the intellectual and emotional journey of a person born into a land of philosophical giants and historical complexities, who, despite prevailing narratives, discovers a profound truth that reshapes their entire existence. Today, we delve into the compelling and often surprising phenomenon of why thousands of Germans are choosing to convert to Islam annually, exploring the personal stories and societal shifts behind this quiet transformation. Germany, a nation renowned for its intellectual rigor, its economic prowess, and its deep historical layers, stands as a cornerstone of modern Europe. For centuries, its cultural and religious landscape has been predominantly shaped by various branches of Christianity, notably Catholicism and Protestantism, intertwined with periods of intense philosophical inquiry and more recently a significant trend towards secularism. In many German cities, churches, both ancient and modern, dot the skyline, serving as architectural reminders of a long-standing Christian heritage. Yet, beneath this visible surface, and particularly in the latter half of the 20th and early 21st centuries, a profound demographic and religious shift has been quietly unfolding. The presence of Muslims in Germany dates back centuries, with early diplomatic contacts and trading relationships. However, the most significant influx began in the 1960s with the arrival of guest workers, Gastarbeiter, primarily from Turkey, invited to fuel Germany's booming post-war economy. These initial communities, largely focused on economic survival and temporary stays, gradually became permanent residents, establishing mosques and cultural centers. Subsequent waves of migration driven by humanitarian crises, political instability, and economic opportunities from regions like the Middle East, North Africa, and the Balkans further diversified and expanded Germany's Muslim population. Today, Islam is the second largest religion in Germany, with millions of adherents comprising a vibrant and increasingly integrated part of German society. Despite this growing presence, the integration of Islam into the broader German consciousness has often been fraught with challenges. Prejudices, stereotypes fueled by media portrayals, and concerns about cultural differences have sometimes led to tension and misunderstanding. Many Germans raised in a secular or nominally Christian environment hold limited knowledge about Islam beyond what is presented in headlines, often associating it with foreignness, extremism, or social conservatism. This societal backdrop means that for a German-born individual, particularly one from a non-immigrant, non-Muslim background, the decision to embrace Islam is far from trivial. It often entails confronting societal misconceptions, navigating family concerns, and embarking on a deeply personal journey that challenges their entire upbringing and social fabric. This is why the statistic is so remarkable. Thousands of Germans, individuals with no prior connection to Muslim communities, are converting to Islam every year. These aren't just refugees or economic migrants, these are often ethnically German citizens, educated professionals, students, artists, and families from diverse backgrounds who are deliberately choosing Islam after a period of intense personal reflection and inquiry. Their stories offer a unique lens through which to understand not only the evolving religious landscape of Germany, but also the universal human search for meaning, community, and truth in a rapidly changing world. What draws them to a faith that many in their society view with apprehension? What answers does Islam provide that other paths have left wanting? The pathways to Islam for Germans are as diverse as the individuals themselves, yet recurring themes emerge. A yearning for intellectual coherence, a deep spiritual void, the allure of a strong community, and a search for clear moral guidance in an increasingly complex world. Let's delve into some composite stories that illuminate these journeys. Consider Lena, a woman in her late 30s from Berlin, who exemplifies the intellectual seeker. Raised in a secular household, Lena held a deep appreciation for philosophy and critical thinking. She was a successful journalist, constantly analyzing societal structures and global events, yet Despite her intellectual pursuits, a nagging sense of emptiness persisted. She had explored various spiritual paths and philosophical schools, but none offered the comprehensive framework she craved. Lena's journey to Islam began not through a mosque, but through a book, a translation of the Quran she picked up out of academic curiosity after a conversation with a Turkish colleague. She approached it with a journalist's skepticism, ready to find contradictions and flaws. Instead, she found profound intellectual clarity. The concept of Tawhid, the absolute oneness of God, resonated deeply with her logical mind, stripping away the complexities she had found in other theological constructs. The Quran's emphasis on reason, observation, and the scientific signs in the universe intrigued her. She spent months comparing Quranic verses to modern scientific discoveries, researching Islamic history, and delving into the biographies of early Muslim scholars. The consistency, the lack of internal contradictions, and the rational coherence of the Islamic worldview captivated her. Lena found herself drawn to a faith that encouraged intellectual inquiry rather than demanding blind faith. After countless hours of solitary study, the truth simply clicked. One day she walked into a mosque, approached the imam, and with a quiet certainty took her shahada. Her intellectual quest had led her to a spiritual home. Then there is Stefan, a young man from Munich whose journey highlights a search for moral clarity and a sense of belonging. Stefan had grown up nominally Christian, but faith played little role in his daily life. He wrestled with the materialism and moral relativism he saw around him, feeling disconnected and searching for a deeper purpose. He experimented with various lifestyles but felt no lasting fulfillment. Stefan's encounter with Islam was through a chance meeting at his university. He noticed a group of Muslim students who exuded a remarkable sense of peace and brotherhood. They prayed openly, shared meals, and seemed genuinely happy and supportive of each other. Intrigued, Stefan began to ask questions. He was struck by their strong moral code, the emphasis on honesty, integrity, respect for elders, and compassion for the poor. He observed their self-discipline during Ramadan, their generosity, and their unwavering commitment to justice. He began attending their study circles, learning about the 5 pillars, the stories of the prophets, and the ethical framework of Islam. What he found was a complete way of life, a detailed guide for every aspect of human existence. From personal conduct to social responsibility, he realized that the emptiness he felt stemmed from a lack of clear purpose and a fragmented moral compass. The structure, discipline, and profound sense of community within Islam offered him a concrete path. He found brotherhood in the mosque, a sense of belonging that filled the void he had felt for so long. For Stefan, Islam offered not just beliefs, but a blueprint for a life of purpose and connection. And we cannot forget Martina, a middle-aged woman from a rural town near Frankfurt, whose path was driven by a profound spiritual yearning and a desire for inner peace. Martina had been a devout churchgoer for much of her life, but over time she felt increasingly disconnected. The rituals felt hollow, the sermons repetitive, and her questions about God's nature remained unanswered. She longed for a direct, unmediated connection with the divine. Her journey began with a personal crisis, a period of deep introspection that led her to seek solace in new avenues. She stumbled upon online lectures by a Muslim convert scholar and for the first time heard explanations of God that resonated with her soul. The concept of Allah as the one, incomparable, without partners or offspring, profoundly moved her. She began practicing prayer in secret, learning the movements and the Arabic words from online tutorials. In these moments of prostration, she found a profound peace she had never experienced before, a direct communion with her Creator. It was a feeling of finally coming home. Martina's transformation was a deeply personal, spiritual awakening that transcended intellectual arguments. It was a matter of the heart finding its true resting place in the direct and simple worship of the one God. Her family initially struggled with her decision, but as they witnessed her newfound inner peace, her increased patience, and her radiant joy, their resistance softened, realizing she had found something truly profound. These personal narratives are supported by several key factors contributing to the rise in conversions. In the digital age, access to authentic Islamic knowledge has exploded. Germans can now easily find accurate translations of the Quran, listen to lectures by renowned Muslim scholars, many of whom are themselves Western converts, and engage in online discussions with Muslims from around the world. This bypasses traditional gatekeepers and allows individuals to explore Islam on their own terms, free from media distortions. Despite challenges, German Muslim communities, particularly in larger cities, have grown stronger and more visible. They offer not just mosques, but community centers, youth groups, interfaith initiatives, and social support networks for those seeking connection, purpose, and a sense of belonging in an increasingly individualistic society. These communities provide a powerful draw. Many converts speak of being drawn to Islam's authenticity and simplicity. The directness of the relationship with God without intermediaries, the clarity of its moral code, and the emphasis on practical spirituality, prayer, fasting, charity, offer a refreshing contrast to what some perceive as convoluted or superficial religious practices elsewhere. For many Germans with a strong sense of social justice, Islam's emphasis on equality, helping the poor, and fighting oppression resonates deeply. They see it as a faith that is not merely spiritual, but calls for active engagement in creating a more just and compassionate world, aligning with their own ethical convictions. Often a positive personal encounter with a Muslim, a kind colleague, a generous neighbor, a patient friend can be the catalyst. These interactions break down stereotypes and reveal the true beauty of Islamic character, sparking curiosity and open-mindedness. The decision to convert is rarely easy. It often involves navigating family resistance, confronting societal biases, and embracing significant lifestyle changes. However, for thousands of Germans each year, the profound sense of peace, clarity, and purpose they find in Islam makes the journey utterly worthwhile. They are not just changing their religion, they are transforming their lives, one soul at a time. The phenomenon of thousands of Germans converting to Islam annually is far more than a collection of individual spiritual journeys. It is a profound indicator of larger societal shifts and evolving understandings of faith in the Western world. This trend challenges the pervasive secular narrative that often predicts the decline of religion in advanced societies. Instead, it demonstrates that even in highly secular contexts, the human yearning for meaning, community, and moral clarity remains potent. And for a growing number, Islam is providing compelling answers. This movement also forces a re-evaluation of stereotypes about Islam itself. These converts are often highly educated, indigenous Germans who, through their own rigorous inquiry, have found a rational and spiritual home in a faith frequently caricatured as backward or oppressive. Their conversion directly contradicts prevailing negative portrayals and promotes a more nuanced understanding of Islam's intellectual depth, ethical framework, and inclusive community spirit. The increasing number of German converts also contributes to the further indigenization of Islam in Germany, fostering a unique German Islamic identity that enriches the nation's multicultural fabric and challenges narrow definitions of national belonging. This quiet revolution from within the heart of Europe signifies a profound dialogue between ancient faith and modern society, shaping a new religious landscape for generations to come. In the context of thousands of Germans converting to Islam annually, the concept of controversial leadership emerges not just from prominent figures, but from various elements that challenge societal norms and traditional power structures within Germany. The converts themselves are controversial leaders through their very act of conversion. By embracing Islam, they implicitly challenge the dominant secular or Christian narratives of German identity and progress. They are leading by example, demonstrating that a deep personal conviction can outweigh societal pressures, familial expectations, and prevailing prejudices. Their presence, particularly those who are ethnically German and public about their new faith, forces a re-evaluation of who a German is and what German identity encompasses, making them controversial figures in a society grappling with its multicultural reality. Furthermore, the intellectual and spiritual arguments for Islam that resonate with these converts represent a controversial form of ideological leadership. The Quran's emphasis on Tawheed and its scientific correlations, the logical consistency of Islamic jurisprudence, and the comprehensive ethical system implicitly lead individuals away from existing philosophical or religious frameworks. This intellectual leadership challenges the perceived intellectual superiority of Western secular thought or traditional Christian theology, suggesting that compelling answers can be found elsewhere. This is controversial because it disrupts established intellectual hierarchies and invites a critical examination of widely accepted doctrines. The growing visibility and institutionalization of German Muslim communities also demonstrate controversial leadership. As mosques are built, Islamic schools established, and Muslim organizations become more vocal in advocating for their rights, these communities are asserting their rightful place in German society. This proactive building of a parallel religious and cultural infrastructure, while natural for any thriving community, can be controversial for elements within the majority population who are resistant to a visibly diverse and confident Muslim presence. It leads the charge in normalizing Islam within the German landscape, a move that some find unsettling. Finally, the openness to genuine interfaith dialogue and mutual understanding practiced by certain Muslim leaders and organizations in Germany is a controversial form of leadership. By actively seeking engagement with Christian and other faith communities, these leaders aim to break down barriers of suspicion and foster coexistence. This can be controversial from both within and outside the Muslim community. Some conservatives might view such dialogue as compromising faith, while some non-Muslims might view it with suspicion or as a mere tactic. Yet these leaders bravely take the initiative, demonstrating a path toward integration and harmony that challenges historical animosities and works towards a more inclusive future for Germany. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next script must.